So you finished Descendant and now your brain feels like it's been abducted, probed by aliens, and then crash landed on Earth with more questions than answers. And don't worry, I got you covered, I think. Today we're breaking down the ending of Descendants, exploring the different interpretations of what the heck happened to Sean, and then give you my mini review on whether this abduction was worth your trip. Spoiler warning, of course, because we're going in deep. First, let's set the stage for the movie. Sean Bruner, played by Ross Marquand, who you probably know from The Walking Dead, works as a school security guard trying to provide for his pregnant wife, Andrea, played by Sarah Bolger. Sean is already on edge. His dad died when he was a kid. He's haunted by the trauma while staring down fatherhood himself. Then one night he gets called into work, climbs onto the school roof, and boom, blinding white light in the sky. From there, things get weird. Sean loses chunks of his memory, develops supersonic hearing, and suddenly can't stop compulsively sketching images of aliens and strange landscapes. It's unclear if he was abducted, if he fell, or his mind just cracked under the pressure. And by the ending, when he supposedly dropped back to Earth, we're left questioning everything we saw. So let's start with the first possibility, is that the aliens were real. And this thing was basically the most intense therapy session in history. Forget Freud. These aliens strapped Sean to a spider web mesh, shut down his motor functions, and ran him through a VR crash course on his deepest fears. Remember the flashes? Wasn't random. I mean, when Sean was a kid, he saved a deer stuck on a fence, and now he's the deer, paralyzed, helpless, waiting to be freed. The aliens become unlikely saviors, forcing him to confront trauma from his father's suicide and his mother's death during childbirth. In this reading, the aliens aren't villains. They're cosmic guidance counselors for anxious first-time dads. They run Sean through visions where he faces the possibility of losing Andrea and the baby, and the only way to move forward is reconciliation. Forgiving his father, forgiving himself, and letting go of the idea that he's doomed to repeat the past. By the end, the aliens graduate him from the program and drop him right back at the school entrance. The scar on the head, that's proof. The sketches plastered on the wall, a permanent reminder of what he overcame. And I personally like this ending the best. It kind of gives the movie some sort of like bizarre optimism. The aliens are basically running a galactic group therapy for dads. Now we can go to the dark side, that, none of the abduction was real. Sean's brain was just breaking down. He falls off the roof, maybe suffers a stroke, and from there his mind unravels. All the alien imagery, the glowing lights, and even Dr. Sturgill, that's his fractured brain trying to process trauma and stress. The reunion scene with Andrea might not be literal. It could be Sean's dying dream, a peaceful way for his mind to bow out. And, this interpretation stings. It's because it suggests Sean never got his closure he needed in real life. Instead, his brain gave him a comforting final hallucination before shutting down. Harsh, I know. It fits the movie's recurring themes, though. That unresolved trauma can basically destroy you if you don't deal with it. And to build on something that's kind of worth pointing out, it's important to remember the paranoia abductees often describe. There's a scene where he buys a gun, and it's not for him to feel manly, to compensate for masculinity issues. It's about fear, plain and simple. And then for all the realists out there, there's the grounded theory, which Sean didn't get abducted. He didn't have a full-on mental collapse. He just blacked out. Too much stress, too much pressure, maybe a little too much bad food and booze at Christian's party. His body just shut down. In that blackout, his subconscious stitched together all the fears and insecurities into one wild fever dream. Aliens, therapy sessions, hallucinations, you name it. When he wakes up, the only real thing left is Andrea. Very pregnant and very real. Everything else, the scars, the sketches, the mysterious guy who drives him home, could just be inventions of his rattled brain. And if this one's true, I guess Descendant isn't about aliens. It's about Sean finally realizing he needs to face his baggage before he passes it on to his kid. And, in that aspect, it's less sci-fi horror, more messy family drama wrapped in cosmic metaphor. So what's the truth? Honestly, the film leaves it up to you. Maybe the aliens were benevolent therapists. Maybe Sean's brain betrayed him. Or maybe he just blacked out from stress. The least interesting option. Personally, I think the alien therapy angle fits best with the movie's imagery, the deer, the sketches, the scars. It feels very intentional. But they want it to be ambiguous, so it sticks with you. And since you stuck around so long, I want to reward you with my mini review. Ross Marquand is the best thing about Descendent. He doesn't overplay Sean's unraveling. You can see him trying to hold it together until he can't anymore. And Sarah Bolger is excellent as Andrea, his wife, just juggling her pregnancy and Sean's breakdown with real emotional weight. The acting is fantastic. And Peter Cilella's directing is fantastic.
Say that again?
Especially kind of making you feel like you're going crazy watching Sean's perspective go every which way. The sound design is worth pointing out because Sean at one point has super hearing and it sounds kind of like a eerie baby monitor in a way where he can hear someone far away, but it's very staticky. I think the downside is, it starts out strong with the alien abduction, and I do like how the movie keeps you guessing throughout and kind of confusing you as well with the way it's shot, how it just abruptly cuts scenes. But I think this has more to do with Sean's mental breakdown than alien abduction, because it doesn't feel like it fully follows through on that promise in the movie. It's kind of like this sort of genre is like, it's not really about this, it's about this. It's sort of, I like to say, the bait and switch genre. And, by the end, I had to make the ending explain video. I think it's a little too vague for its own good. So overall, I would give Descendant a 3 out of 5. It's a fascinating character study wrapped in sort of a sci-fi shell. But, if you're into ambiguous alien abduction stories, then this might be worth a watch for you. But what did you think? Was Sean really abducted, or was it all in his head? Drop your theory in the comments, because this is one of those movies where every interpretation is fair game. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe for more movie deep dives. And remember, if a random guy offers you a ride after a mysterious white light in the sky, maybe check for alien eyes first.